the urinary bladder, and here is the prostate and the urethra. So the zonal anatomy is the peripheral zone, the 70%, the young adult. The central zone is the 25%. The transition to the 5% is the which involved in the benign prostatic hyperplasia. Zonal anatomy again is the transitional zone, central zone, and the peripheral zone. So the prevalence of the benign prostatic hyperplasia. The patients, it is depend on the man age. If the patient's age is 40 to 50, there is a 20% chances of hyperplasia. 51 to 60, there's a 50%, and the increase the 10 to 15% with the 10 year of the age. And the 80% of the men are involved, are diagnosed with the benign prostatic hyperplasia at the age of 70 to 80. So these are the symptoms. The storage symptom is the frequency the patient void repeatedly during the daytime, and the nocturia is the increased frequency in the night, urgency, urge incontinence, and nocturnal incontinence. These are the storage symptoms. And the voiding symptom is with the start of the urination, the patient feel hesitancy, then the poor flow, and the intraintestine dribbling, sensation of the poor bleeding up to dying. The patient feels if he void properly, even though the patient feel he has a urine in the bladder, episode of the near retention. So the investigation is ultrasound, trans abdominal ultrasound, or the trans rectal ultrasound. The trans abdominal ultrasound is the size of the prostate in the patient, the pre-void urine and the post-void urine volume. Okay, kidneys, hydronephrosis. If the patient has a long-standing retention or the chronic retention, the patient has the hydronephrosis and the hydroureter because of the back pressure of the bladder. So the urine DR, serum PSA, and the urodynamic studies. So the PSA is less than 4 nanogram in the benign prostate. If it's more than 4, you suspect there is a malignancy. So the this is a trans abdominal ultrasound, but sometime we offer the patient with the trans rectal ultrasound. The advantage of the trans rectal ultrasound is the size of the prostate, and by the transrectal ultrasound we take biopsy of the prostatic gland. So the careful history and the physical examination, including digital rectal examination. In digital rectal examination, the patient has the rectal normal mucosa of the rectum with the smooth surface of the prostate. Medial circle is palpable and is a no nodule palpable. So that is the criteria for the benign prostatic hyperplasia. So the serum creatinine PSA depending on the patient life expectancy and circumstances. So this is the scores, international prostatic symptom score. So if the 0 to 7 is a mild, is moderate is 8 to 9, and the 20 to 35 it is the severe symptoms. So what we see in the score is the incomplete emptying, frequency, intermittency, urgency, weak straining, and the nocturia. The differential diagnosis is the non-prostatic and the prostatic, the prostatitis and the prostatic cancer. In the non-specific, non-prostatitis is the urethral stricture, bladder neck contracture, bladder tumors, neurogenic bladder, bladder calcula, urinary tract infection. So the treatment of the BPH is depend on how the patient is present. If the patient is present with the acute urinary retention, so catheterize the patient, empty the bladder, and then start medication. But if the patient has a mild symptom, the watchful waiting, and then the second option is a medical therapy, depending on the criteria. How much is the prostate is enlarged, and the surgical treatment is a conventional surgical minimally uh, invasive treatment. So the goal of sustained symptoms are goals are the decreased bladder outlet obstruction, so it improve the bladder impeding, lower uterine instability, reverse renal insufficiency, which is the as I have already told you, because of the prostatic hyperplasia, there is a back pressure and the patient has a hydroureter the hydronephrosis. So the prevent future episodes of the gross hematuria, UTI, and urinary retention. So the quality of the life and sexuality would be improved with the treatment. The management of depend on the severity. So the medical treatment are alpha adrenergic blockers, alpha reductase inhibitors, the plant extractors, and the combination of these agents. So here, or you can see the alpha receptors, selective and the non-selective. So the alpha blockers are long acting. Terazosin, the drug is available with the name of hydrogen 1 milligram, 2 milligram, the 5 milligram. So these are the alpha blockers. Doxycycline and the alphazosin. These are again the alpha blockers. So alpha 1 selective blocker is the tamsuline. Tamsuline is a 0.4 milligram one at night. So alpha reductase inhibitors, and this inhibits the conversion of the testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. This is this is the cause which increase the prostatic size. So we have to inhibit. So the name of the drug is Proscar, is available in the market with the finasteride and the dutasteride. So the new drug is a combination of the both alpha 1 reductase inhibitor and the alpha blockers, the tamsuline and the dutasteride 0.5 milligram. So this is the drug which we use the frequency of the urine. The most the name of the drug which is available is the Solefin. So the absolute indication of the surgery is the upper respiratory tract insufficiency, bladder stone, hematuria, recurrent urinary retention, and the fail to respond to medical therapy. So the surgical options are the TURP, there's a transurethral resection of the prostate due to prostatectomy, and the transvesical prostatectomy. So the TURP with the cystoscope, with the cystoscopy, then with the endoscope, we resect the prostatic tissues. The open approach is the retropubic approach and the suprapubic approach, the transvesical approach. So this is a conventional surgical treatment of open prostatectomy, not done routinely, because the TURP is done routinely. It is a gold standard, but open prostatectomy is necessary when the prostatic size more than 100 ml. It's a huge, the large prostate. And the concomitant conditions with the prostate, then we need open surgery is the bladder diverticulum or the bladder stone, recurrent personal urinary tract infections, acute urinary retention, bladder outlet obstruction, recurrent gross hematuria of the prostatic origin, pathological changes in the bladder, ureters, and kidneys. But this all because of the prostatic obstruction. So here is the graph which the table which shows the management of the prostatic hyperplasia. The initial diagnosis, the history and physical examination, and the DRE, digital rectal examination, urinalysis, and CMPSA. But the IPSS, the score, if the score is less than 8, watchful waiting. The patient has the moderate to severe symptoms. As I have told you, the symptoms is the frequency, urgency, nocturia, nocturnal incontinence, and the hesitancy, poor stream, If the patient has the more severe symptom, then additional option test the flow recording in the residual urine. Residual urine we can measure with the ultrasound. The period urine and the post urine. The flow rate is the urinary flow rate. So if this is all are present, then the treatment discussion, either medical treatment or the surgical treatment. And here, in case of the refractory acute urinary retention, the hematuria, bladder stones, UTIs, renal insufficiency, I've told you before, this need surgery. So, the brief summary is the benign prostatic hyperplasia becomes increasingly common as the managed. Many men with the BPH are asymptomatic and have only mild symptoms. Men who develop upper and the lower tract injury will require surgery. Alpha blockers and the first line treatment model prostate is less than 40 ml. 5 alpha taxane inhibitors require long term treatment efficacy and are beneficial with the large prostate more than 40. Combine the Duodod and superior and for long term therapy. The choice of the medical treatment may be made on the basis of the cost and the side effect of the profile of the drug. TERP is the gold standard treatment. TERP is the transurethral resection of prostate. So, the malignant condition of the prostate is a carcinoma of the prostate. So, the family history is a 2 to 3-fold increased risk in the men with the first degree relative. High risk association is early onset of disease and the accounting for the 10% of all cases. Risk factors is striking factors in since the mortality between the black are the more common in the black. Environmental factors are also responsible for the ethnic differences. Asian immigrants to USA have the higher incidence of prostatic cancer. 95% of the patient has adenocarcinoma, but the 5% are of these types. And commonly, 95% is the adenocarcinoma, which increase the risk. So the early stage the patient is the asymptomatic or the mild symptoms. The cancer in the peripheral zone. In the BPH involve the transitional zone, and the cancer involve the peripheral zone. So the locally advanced disease, obstructive irritative voiding symptoms, hesitancy, intermittent urinary stream, decreased force of the urine, may have growth in the urethra or bladder neck, retention of the urine, hematospermia, the renal failure, and the pelvic pain. These are the symptoms which we suspect the patient the locally advanced disease. Hematuria, hematospermia, renal failure, and the pelvic pain. Pelvic pain is due to involvement of the neurovascular bundle, the nerves involvement. So advanced disease spread to the regional lymph nodes. Edema of the lower extremities, pelvic and the perineal discomfort. The patient complain the backache and the lower uh, body pain. So the metastasis is the bone pain if they involve the bone, spinal cord compression symptom, and the paralysis. So the hematuria is a prostatic urethra, the trigon involvement. So hematospermia. So the extra prostatic is spread often asymptomatic and extensive disease. So if the involvement of the rectum, then the hematochezia, there's a bleeding per rectum, the constipation, intermittent diarrhea, abdominopelvic pain, renal impairment due to prolonged bladder outlet obstruction, and the fluid retention and electrolyte imbalance. These are the present the patient has the advanced disease. So the involvement of the neurovascular bundle, again, the genitourinary disease is the importance and the pelvic pain and the priapism. So advanced disease, the metastasis symptom. The patient present with the bony pain, sometimes the pathological fracture and the spinal tenderness, the backache. These are the symptoms of the advanced disease, the malignant disease. The metastatic towards the bone, spinal cord compression, pelvic and the the lymphadenopathy, and the edema of the abdominal wall, genitalia, the lower extremities, moss, and abdomen. So the adrenal is the lung and the skin metastasis. The paraneoprotic syndrome, SIDH, is the Cushing syndrome. So the diagnostic workup again with the CBC, with the blood comes with the basic, the baseline test, and the serum PSA. PSA is a more than 4. This is the suggestive of the malignancy. And the radiographic imaging is the transrectal ultrasonography. As I told you before, the prostatic, if you suspect the prostatic cancer, we usually offer for the transrectal ultrasound. The advantage of this is you can take the biopsy with the transrectal ultrasound. So the biopsy in the chest radiograph to see the metastatic disease, the CT of the pelvis, and the bone scan. Bone scan to see the metastasis in the bone. MRI and the PET CT. So again, the diagnosis of the sign and symptom of the prostate abnormal DRE, although correlate poorly with the volume and extent of the cancer, is the integral part of the algorithm. The difference between the DRE of the benign prostatic hyperplasia and the malignancy is, with the cancer of the prostate, we cannot palpate normally the median sulcus, and the surface is not smooth. The prostate surface is not smooth. Rectal mucosa over the prostate is not moving, which is usually the fix with the prostate. But in the benign prostatic hyperplasia, the median circle is palpable, smooth surface, no nodularity, has a smooth, and the rectal mucosa over the benign prostate is mobile. So the PSA is more than 4, suggestive, and the TRUS, again the transrectal ultrasound guided biopsy. To establish a diagnosis, to report extent and the grade of the cancer is each score, to document the presence of the chest X-ray. Again, see the metastasis and the bone survey, bony pain, and the osteoblastic secondaries, and with the bone scan, ultrasound of the abdomen to see the hydroureter and the hydronephrosis, large post-void residual urinary volume, the retroperitoneal lymphadenopathy, the liver metastasis. This is the advanced disease. So the CT scan. To CT scan, see the size of the gland. To assess the pelvic lymphadenopathy, the treatment, either the radiotherapy or the radical prostatectomy, and the extraprostatic extension is a locally advanced disease like the periprostatic fat planes, bladder base deformity, and augmentation of the normal angle, and the lymph node involvement, abnormality in size, sensitivity. It's reserved for the patient with the higher PSA level, more than 20 to 25 nanogram, and the CT guided FNAC of the lymph nodes. So to CT is important to see the size of the gland, and to see the locally advanced disease and the lymph node status. So the MR is superior to CT to define the prostatic apex size and the neurovascular bundle and the intrathecal wall. So the CA prostate is a focal peripheral region of the decreasing intensity surrounded by the normal peripheral zone. So the BP is a centrally located nodule in the similar signal. Primary staging is sensitivity 69%. The endo rectal surface coil MRI accuracy is 54 to 70%. So the bone is scan to see the osteoblastic secondaries in the bone. The most commonly is the vertebral column, and the ribs is second to vertebral column. Spinal cord involvement and the rib. Uh, So the indication of the bone scan is the peritherapy. Start with the either the decision of the radiotherapy or the bone scan is important before therapy. So early stage disease, PSA more than 20, and Gleason score is 8, bone pain, T3, T4 disease, the symptomatic patient, high grade tumor, baseline, an elderly patient with a history of arthritis to document degenerative changes that may later to interpret as a metastatic osseous disease, and to be assessed the treatment effectiveness. Because sometimes the patient present only with the fracture of the bone, but if they are yet those are not diagnosed with the cancer of the prostate. So this is a Gleason. Scale is a well differentiated, moderate differentiated, and the poorly differentiated. So the small uniform gland and the more stromal between glands, this is the well differentiated. Distinctly infiltrate margins, and this is the moderately differentiated. The poorly differentiated is the irregular mass of the neoplastic gland, the only occasional gland formation. So stage T1 is a non-palpable tumor that's not evident on the radiographic imaging, and the T2 is palpable tumor confined to the prostate. Okay. The T3 is a palpable tumor extended beyond prostate. T4 is a palpable tumor that is fixed and involved adjacent structures. So the lymph nodes are metastatic to one region lymph nodes, size less than 2. Metastatic to one or more lymph nodes, region lymph nodes, size less than 5 centimeter, and the metastatic at least one region lymph nodes or more than 5 centimeter. The distant is M0 is no evidence, and the M at least one distant metastasis. So stage 1 and stage 1 2 is defined as the early stage, the locally confined cancers, and stage 3 is the locally advanced, and stage 4 is advanced malignancy. Stage 1 and 2 has a good prognosis, and that's early stage. Stage 3 is the locally advanced, the advanced is the uh, highly advanced tumor, which involve the bladder, rectum, and the spine, the adjacent structures. So the treatment is depend on the stage 1, 2, or the 3. It having the depend on the stage, patient age, and the general condition of the patient. Early, local advanced, the metastatic has been defined before. Early is the T1, T2. T3 is the locally advanced, and the T4 is the here. You can see stage 4 is the advanced. So three risk groups: the low risk, intermediate risk, and the high risk. So the local lung disease, local is the early stage, and the localized disease, no metastatic, no advance, no involvement of the neighboring structures. Is observation, radical radiotherapy, or the radical prostatectomy. One of both options. And the locally advanced is the radical radiotherapy and the hormonal therapy. And the metastatic is the palliative radiotherapy or the hormonal therapy. So the radical prostatectomy, in which we complete removal of the prostate surrounding with the capsule, seminal vesicle, ampulla, and the vas deferens. This is called the radical prostatectomy. So the approach is the retropubic or the transperineal. So or laparoscopic. Retroperitoneal, transperineal, the laparoscopic. And the selection of the patient is the clinically localized prostate, so early disease, T3A, N0, M0, age less than 60 years, good general condition, life expectancy more than 10 years, no life threatening ancillary disease. This is the criteria by which we select the patient for radical prostatectomy. In the radical prostatectomy, again, the complete removal of the prostate, surrounding capsule, seminal vesicle, ampulla, and the vas deferens. So the radiotherapy is adjuvant, radical, or the palliative. So these are the technique by which we give the radiotherapy. So this is the patient, if the patient has the advanced disease, and just we have these are options: ablation of the androgen source is orchidectomy, inhibition of hormones is the goserelin, and the other drugs which we inhibit the luteinizing hormone is the luteinizing hormone releasing hormone, and the inhibition of the androgen synthesis. This is the reason which uh, causes the growth of the prostate cancer. So we have to inhibit it. So these are the drug aminoglutathione and the ketoconazole. Inhibit the androgen synthesis, and the anti-androgens are again the saprotin acetate, frutamide, bicotamide, and nilotamide. These are the drug which we use in the palliative treatment. Thank you so much.
Ari.